And now, young sorcerers, here is where your power will begin to manifest and grow exponentially. Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire, going on to the 3rd level spells for the 1st edition Pathfinder Sorcerer. We have a lot on offer. Like I said, there's just so much to go through and so many great options that I want to remind you that bear in mind as you level in advance, you're able to swap out your spells. So if you find something that might have been recommended as good here on the guide just isn't getting used all that often or isn't quite as applicable in your campaign, you can change them out. But now, before we get into any further here, if you're new here to the channel, go on down there, hit the subscribe button, and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. Or, if you've already gone ahead and done that and listed yourself on such a legendary roster of incredible heroes, then go on down to hit the like button and share the video far and wide. But now, let's start talking about your 3rd level spell selection. And to start us off, we are going to pick up Stinking Cloud. It's another classic. At any point within 100 feet plus 10 feet per level, you create a 20-foot high, 20-foot radius nauseating fog. Creatures inside must make a fortitude save or be nauseated and remain so for 1d4 plus 1 rounds after. If they succeed, this means that they have to make the save again each round they are inside the cloud on your turn. So this is a continuous effect that can put a pretty solid debuff on your opponents. Absolutely a great one to have, and it couples nicely with the Ashen Path spell from 2nd level, so a great combination there. And then we come to another classic that no arcanist should be without, and that's Haste. You select 1 creature per level, no 2 of which can be more than 30 feet apart, and you grant them a +1 bonus to attack, armor class, and reflex saves, and a plus 30-foot movement bonus, and 1 extra attack at their full attack bonus. Your fighters, barbarians, paladins, rangers, cavaliers, anybody who's engaging in melee is going to absolutely adore you when you throw this on them, particularly when you couple this with the giant growth spell. And we also have Fly. You touch 1 creature and give them a fly speed of 60 feet, or 40 feet if they're in medium or heavy armor, with good maneuverability, ascending at half speed and descending at double. This spell also provides a bonus to fly checks based off of your level, or 1/2 of your level to be specific. So even if they've only thrown in the occasional point into their fly skill, they're still going to have a pretty sizable bonus to make use of that good maneuverability. And of course, moving on from there, we come to another spell that's just a long time classic for Dungeons & Dragons and Pathfinder, and that's the Slow spell. You select 1 creature per level, no 2 of which can be more than 30 feet apart. They must make a will save or be staggered and make a single move or standard action each round. They can't do both. This also gives a -1 penalty to attack, armor class, and reflex saves, and reduces their movement speed to 1/2. And this will last 1 round per level and has a range of 25 feet plus 5 feet every 2 levels. This is an incredible debuff. Staggered is a great thing to inflict on your enemies. That and the limited amount of movement speed there is going to allow your party to maneuver and dominate on the battlefield, getting yourself set up in ideal positions. This is, even with the short duration, this is great to throw down, and bear in mind, we have the persistent spell feat, so pairing this with slow will mean that your opponents are rolling twice and taking the worst result. Then next we have Summon Monster 3. Summon Monster finally makes its appearance. This takes 1 round to cast, but it lets you summon a creature or creatures at a point within 25 feet plus 5 feet for every 2 levels, and the creature will last 1 round per level. Some ideal picks are going to be creatures like cheetahs or crocodiles. And remember, if you cast previous versions of Summon Monster, that will allow you to summon multiple monsters from, say, the Summon Monster 2 list or the Summon Monster 1 list. And on this will improve as you gather more Summon Monster spells. Then the next one I'd recommend is a great one. It's pretty interesting, actually. It's Heat Stroke. You make a ranged touch attack at a target within 25 feet plus 5 feet for every 2 levels. The target must make a fortitude save or become exhausted. Targets in heavy armor take a -4 penalty. Now, if they make their save, there's a partial effect where they don't become exhausted, they just become fatigued. Fatigued is still another great debuff, but if they become exhausted, then they're taking a -6 penalty to their strength and dexterity scores, which is a huge hit, particularly in terms of damage and an ability to hit their opponents. So, this is a pretty good one, and since a lot of the targets that are wearing heavy armor are typically going to be more strength dependent to begin with, this makes them ideal targets and something great for you to throw at your enemies. And then we have audiovisual hallucination. You select, well, 1 creature per level, no 2 of which can be more than 30 feet apart, that are within a 400 foot plus 40 feet per level range. So this is an incredibly long range spell. The targets must make a will save or see and hear hallucinatory sounds and images. You must concentrate on the spell, and you can direct it to act and react to targets interacting with it. For example, if your opponents attack the images generated, you can direct the images to, well, react realistically. They can react as if they've just been attacked or struck, or like they're defending themselves. Ceasing concentration means the spell will end 3 rounds after, so this is a great way to start controlling and directing enemies in a particular direction. Layers of hallucination like this are incredibly effective, and remember, if you're a gnome, you've got bonuses to this to begin with, so this could be a really great one for you to have. But even if you aren't a gnome, this is still a solid pick. And then we get to a couple more classics here for you, and we have Dispel Magic. You target 1 spellcaster, creature, or object within 100 feet plus 10 feet per level to end an ongoing spell effect, counter a spell, or suppress a magic item's abilities. You must make a dispel check, which is 1d20 plus your caster level. There's a little bit more to it than this, but this you can already see just based off of this here why this is an ideal spell for you to grab. Now, just bear in mind, if there's another caster in the party that has access to this magic, maybe it's one that you don't necessarily need to grab. But I would still make the case that even if somebody does, 2 casters with access to Dispel Magic are going to be able to do a lot to really mess with the enemy. And then we have Displacement, which you touch a target to grant them a 50% miss chance. This lasts 1 round per level. Essentially, the images become blurred and distinct, and you appear like you are about 2 feet from where you're actually standing, which is where the miss chance comes in. So definitely a good one to have. This doesn't override or negate spells such as Mirror Image, but pairing them together means you are going to be damn near untouchable. Throw invisibility into the mix. Well, you don't necessarily need to throw invisibility in, because once you're revealed, your images and displacement are going to already do a lot to help protect you, but having invisibility on hand as well means you are going to be able to avoid, negate, and just outright prevent a ton of damage coming your way. So this spell selection here is going to be incredibly useful, an incredibly diverse and capable toolkit that is really going to start magnifying your abilities as a spellcaster. But what do you think? Go on down to the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Do you like this spell list? Do you dislike it? Is there anything you might recommend adding in? Certainly there are cases to be made for spells like Lightning Bolt, and some people try to say that Fireball is much more useful, and I I can kind of see some ways it is, but generally speaking, most of your blasting spells aren't going to be as effective as providing buffs and debuffing. But still, go on down to the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Hit those like or dislike buttons, and remember that if you're new here to the channel, go on down there, hit the subscribe button, and become a regular member. But with all that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire. Thank you all so very much for your time, and you all have yourselves a good night.